Let's go. Number 65, The Cult, She Sells Sanctuary. What do we think of this? Do we like where the cult was here? They were a little more leaning more towards The Cure, possibly a little bit guitar. Further down the road, Rick Rubin takes them on, and they become a hard rock band. But do you like She Sells Sanctuary?
I do, but I don't hear sonically that much difference between it and Fire Woman that they did a couple of albums later.
I agree.
I just don't think it's that different. When looking at the video, this was a band that could present themselves on video above average. I like the guitar texture. And Ian Astley makes a convincing front man, and then the other guys do their little posy guitar riffs, and it all works. It's pretty lightweight when you get right down to it, but the sound is exciting. What did you think, Holly? This is kind of a hard rocking song.
Oh, this is great. I was into this at the time, and this kind of music. I was all over it, and I really liked his look also. Ian Astbury, he had a good look. It was not glam. It was glam, hard rock.
Yeah.
I really like that. I dug that. And I thought he had a great voice for the type of music that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this, but then he went on to front the Doors some years later.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
was very cool and a really good fit. I didn't until I didn't remember that. And then when I read it, I thought that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it kind of does. I didn't hear him with the Doors, Dave. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you like when I mean, not that you have any choice in the matter, but when a new vocalist comes into a band and takes over, is that
I'm open-minded. It depends on the approach that they take. For example, when Paul Rodgers, very distinctive vocalist, sang with Queen, he didn't try to sound like Freddie Mercury. He sounded like Paul Rodgers. And I thought that was appropriate and worked on some of the songs. They did feel different, and some of the fans might have been a little disappointed. But I thought that was okay. On the other hand, the Coverdale Page album wasn't my favorite. It's not quite Zeppelin. He didn't replace anybody, but I mean, Robert Plant called him David Cover version, so that's good enough for me.
Sometimes it's just fun and campy as opposed to somebody actually like. Two examples. So Adam Lambert with Queen.
Yeah, right.
Who I haven't seen, but I hear is really spectacular. And of course, there's no more Freddie Mercury. So,
right.
If you're going to do it, then yeah. But also Journey, not a huge, I was a Journey fan back in the day, but what's the guy's name? Who's
Arnel Pineda.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
not a draw for me.
It's like Journey Mania to me. It's an incredible simulation. It's nothing unique. Like Paul Rodgers brought his uniqueness to Queen. Like you bring your own personality. You don't.
Paul Rodgers is Paul Rodgers. We can accept him as him and not looking to replace Freddie Mercury.
Well, I'm going to be the contrarian voice on Arnel Pineda. Okay. First of all, Steve Perry is not in shape, or at least he wasn't in shape physically. He had health issues and couldn't have continued on as Journey's lead singer. So in a way, he's not dead, but they couldn't use him. And they used several other singers first. When I've heard Arnel doing Steve's songs, the thing that interests me about that is that he's got the voice that can hit all those notes, but he always changes the phrasing just a little bit, just enough so that I'm paying attention and I'm not just going, I remember Steve singing this. So I think he brings something to the band, and I think he's an asset to them. I would agree that if Steve had his voice and could sing lead, that would be preferable. But I don't hold anything against Arnel, and I think that it was brave of Neil Schon to find him on YouTube and bring him over from the Philippines and stick him in the band. That took some guts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is not a slight against Arnel. It's just not, it's not my thing. It doesn't do it for me. That's not
I'm not saying you're wrong. Like I said, it's hard for me to picture anybody else singing with Zeppelin. I'm glad that didn't come about.
Yeah. But I haven't seen Journey since, without Steve Perry. So I've just heard him, Arnel, sing, and anyway, you've seen him live, and so you hear that, and so that's cool that you approve. Especially a guy from San Fran who can approve of a different version.
Well,
of
you know,
Journey.
it's not. Steve Perry wasn't always in Journey to begin with.
Right.
I enjoyed the band from Neil Sean's connection to Santana, so I don't view Steve as he's a key ingredient, but he's not an. You know, originally they had Greg Raleigh singing. It's not always been
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.